Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Court of Swords, episode 54, 55. What are we on? Adam, do you know?
You got it. It's 54.
54. Okay.
A big old 5-4.
This week, Adam is brought to you by Cold Medicine. Everywhere. Get it now. It's great. It works out.
Drinking this gross ass tea, taking Dayquil, stayed in bed all morning, ready for some Dungeons and Dragons.
What type of tea are you drinking?
You know the kind of tea you only drink when you're sick, and it's like at the back of your cupboard because you bought it one time when you were sick, and you're like, I'm sick, so where's that sick ass tea? It's like echinacea or something. It tastes like just garbage. It's not good, but
I just drink Earl Grey. That's what I would go to. Is that not good for you?
It's not good for you, but Earl Grey has a lot of caffeine, and caffeine can like mess you up when you're sick.
The more you know. I had no idea.
Caffeine and sugar and alcohol all make you feel better in the immediacy, but then you push yourself too hard and then you just die. So I'm just taking it easy.
That's
my
true.
Shitty echinacea tea. And as Zeke pointed out, I got that good Tom Waits voice going on.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're fucking.
Since you said that, Zeke, all I've been doing is just thinking about the Wire theme song in my head. I just have it going over and over in my head. It's awesome.
You sound like a completely different person. Your voice dropped a few octaves and.
Yeah.
Exactly. Today on Court of Swords.
I like it. I like it. I'm into it. I think you regard The Wire. Just go with me here. It's going to sound stupid.
Yep.
You regard The Wire in your life the same way that I regard Home Improvement.
Okay. All right. I know you well enough to know where you're going with this, but yes, I think that's probably true.
For you, The Wire is like comfort, right? That's like your go-to, like.
The Wire is, it's just like The Wire is for me the TV equivalent of like I don't know, Blade Runner or Empire Strikes Back. Like it's just best. Like I could just pick any random episode, I could spend an hour watching it and just be like, yeah, The Wire.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can't do that.
Futurama for me.
Futurama for you?
Nice. So yeah. I have a good story that ties Futurama to me being sick. So back in the ancient times when DVDs were first like a thing and people were selling box sets of TV shows, I got the flu, and my girlfriend at the time bought me 3 seasons of Futurama, and I watched all of them in a row. And then I went back to the beginning and watched all of them with the commentary on, without stopping, just going in and out of like fever consciousness. So now whenever I think of Futurama, I'm just like, I get like weird fevery acid flashbacks.
That's
it's a good show, but yeah, it's buried in a strange place in my brain.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Max, what do you nibble on over there?
It's a roast beef sandwich with
Well, show the
provolone.
class. Show the class what you brought to stream.
It doesn't look impressive, but it's.
Oh. Is that mayo or is that cheese? What's the white?
It's cheese. It's provolone cheese, salt, pepper, a little bit of giardiniera on there.
Giardiniera? What the fuck is that?
Giardiniera. It's a hot, like, Italian kind of pepper kind of mixture. It's like peppers, carrots, bunch of stuff.
Sort of like a sauce, right?
More like a topping. Like it's not like a sauce. It doesn't have the consistency of a sauce.
Okay.
I'll try to link you guys some. I can't remember how to spell it because it's long.
Giardiniera. Let's see.
Giardiniera.
I got it. I found it.
Got it?
Wait.
It's got like hot peppers and shit.
Their tagline is, at Giardiniera, we want you to help create memories. Is that correct?
No. I would be very surprised.
Oh, this is a restaurant.
I think you came upon like a Sears.
It's very much used on it's an Italian relish of pickled vegetables in vinegar or oil, but it's like peppers.
Oh, it's that stuff.
Use it on Italian beef and things like that.
Yeah.
Very common on Italian beef sandwiches. But yeah, I put that on sandwiches and stuff because they're really good. And then I got some jalapeno kettle cooked chips with a pickle.
Nice.
Yeah, is the pickle there to break all of the hotness, or do you just like pickles?
I like that combination.
You like that crunch?
Or they're it's not Vlasic. What's the one where they're always refrigerated? This is the garlic ones. The ones that are
I mean, I'm sure Vlasic makes garlic flavored pickles.
I know, they're different. They're like the whole ones that are always refrigerated. They're not like in the actual like pickle aisle.
I don't know.
I love that you order yourself like a Jimmy John sandwich, order that pickle, and it's like fucking the size of a football. And you're just like, damn, Jimmy John, this is a cucumber, my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't have time to munch on get dinner or whatever. I don't know what time of day it is. What do we do this show? JP calls and I'm like, all right, it's showtime.
That's not true. You know what time of day it is. You get up in time for this show. Actually, you've been getting up a lot earlier, haven't you?
I've been trying to, yeah. I've been trying to like wean myself off shitty schedule and get back to it. It's just hard because I'll do these, like, I'll get myself kind of on track and then, you know, a trip will come up and then I'll be kind of like repairing the damage that trip did and then doing it again. And here comes another trip. So,
yeah. Yeah, you have been traveling just an insane amount. Like every time I look at Twitter, you and Amanda are just saying like, well, going to blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, why? Just stay ground. Just airplanes are bad. Just what are you doing?
I know.
Yeah.
It's not good. This is the last trip that I have planned for any amount of time in the foreseeable future.
That's good.
Other than like any staple con. Actually, I don't have any other. What's the next con that's coming up? Probably PAX South or something.
South in
I don't think I'm going.
mid-September. Yeah. Are you gonna go there?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. I live here, so I guess I could go there for like a day or two.
Yeah, you live there. That was.
I live in PAX. It's crazy in the PAX.
I'm just
South.
tired of taking time off, like to go to events. It's just so annoying to try to build a consistency.
Last year, I would have said yeah for sure to PAX South, but with Unplugged being so close to South, now I'm like, I don't know, South. I don't know if I can make it down there.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, and you were there a lot longer than we were just there for like a day. So.
Yeah. Unplugged was great, but yeah, like I don't know. I don't want to just like jump on and go on. And it's like you said, Max. It's like you want to repair the damage. You want to be like, all right, let me get back to business. Let me if I can live in my house for a few minutes. It's
I
hard
actually
to
lied.
go around all the time.
The next thing that I'm going to is AGDQ. That's where I'm going to. But I'm not going to be there for the entire like 2 weeks or whatever it is. But that's the next thing. That's in January. And then after that, I have nothing planned. But I'm ready to just stay home and stream and get back to consistency.
Yeah. Good.
That's all I got going on. Sandwiches and tired of going on trips. That's it.
That's good.
You're gonna read donations, right, for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a host job for.
Did we talk about that on cast or
I don't know
off?
if we did or not. I
No,
think it was
we
probably
talked
off.
about that during
I
Scrabble.
did remember talking about it a long time ago. Like I think when you first found out about it, Max. But I don't remember if it was on stream or not.
Yeah. Well, I'll be doing that. I'll be there for. I have 3 slots. I think one of them was like one of the Halos, and then the other 2 I can't remember. I have to look back at the schedule. But I'll be at AGQ for like 3 or 4 days.
You're getting a Halo.
Yeah, I get a Halo. It's pretty cool.
not bad.
I think they're all like graveyard, kind of like in the AM shifts, but I don't care. I told them I don't care.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you if you know if a game's being run, but you have no idea. I'm just gonna go look at the website.
What games are being run? They have an official list of the games that are going to be run, but I don't think they have like the schedule. They just have the list of like games that will be run, but they haven't been scheduled out.
I wonder if they're doing Super Mario Odyssey.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so because that game released after they had already had the submission cut off, I think. So it's a bummer though, because that would.
Well, everyone's
as I was playing that game, I was like, God, speedruns of this game are going to be so good.
Yeah, everyone's playing that game right now and speedrunning it. So, yeah, well, that's cool. I'll if it's not if you said it's graveyard, so as long as it's not like fucking 4 a.m. or some shit, I'll try to tune in.
Yeah, you should be able to catch at least one of them, I think.
I'm gonna be that guy in the chat who's saying like, well, he's using a voice modifier. His voice doesn't sound like that guy's. Like obviously.
Yeah.
Dan, you have to put a donation in during that time so we can keep the DansGaming tradition going.
Of course.
It's true.
Good old Dan S.
Zeke, what have you been up to? Is that some coffee? That's a cool mug, by the way. I like that mug.
It is. I've had this mug for a few years now. This was actually a gift from a viewer like 3 years ago or something like that. And I actually have a command in my chat for this mug because you're not the first person to say like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like a link to it on Amazon or eBay or something. Yeah, I'm just drinking coffee. I love coffee. Always have. What have I been up to lately?
Yeah.
I am fucking deep. I'm almost done with Hand of Fate 2. And
yeah,
I gotta say, dude, I've said this in the chat obviously a few times, but I'll say it now. It ticks a lot of right boxes for me.
Well, that's cool.
It's high fantasy. It feels like a choose your own adventure game. It has pretty basic combat, but enough difficulty to actually, you have to keep on your toes from time to time. I like the gambling aspect. There's a lot of random dice and cards and like fucking Wheel of Fortune and shit like that. I love it. So yeah, it has a lot of the elements, and also like as I'm playing, there's a ton of reading, but also enough different characters that I can do a terrible voice for that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I messaged you a game today that I think you should play. My stream today consisted of me going on Steam's not curator, Steam Discovery, where they just like tell you games that you might like. And I went, I went through like 400 games, didn't find a single one, but I did find a game that you might like called The Last Day of June.
Yep, you told me that.
Yeah.
And I believe your exact statement to me was, hey, play this game and see if it's any good on any Sunday. Like,
exactly.
Okay, you bet, sir. I'll get right on that.
Well, because I was like, hey,
you're
chat.
like one of those shitty chat members. Like,
well, no,
you should play.
No. This is where it came from. I was like, hey, chat. Hey, tell Zeke to play this game, all right? I'm going to keep going on. And then someone in chat was like, why don't you tell Zeke to play that game? I was like, oh, yeah. And then I went over there. And just like a chat member, I typed the way a chat member would. There's also there's a trilogy. Oh God, chat's gonna have to help me remember this name. Where you're a big fan of FMV stuff. The trailers are like they're like some 90s style FMV shot with like a super fucking crazy expensive camera and 16:9 full HD of a guy dressed up like a necromancer. And he's like talking to you about the game and stuff. And then it goes to the game, and the game just looks like complete shit. Like it is abysmal. It's called Age of Fear. And I was like, what?
I gotta check that shit out.
Who buys this? And so I'm going, hold on. And then I'm going through Discovery, like next 20 games. Like, oh my God, there's a second one of these. So I click the trailer and start it. And it's this chick dressed up like a fucking demon. And she's sitting there telling you all this crazy shit. And it looks really fucking awful. And they go to the gameplay, and it looks so fucking
looks so bad.
You
think it was made with HyperCard
and not a different website?
No, I was on Steam. And then I'm like, there's surely not a third one of these. About 30 games later, a third one pops up, and now the demon chick is a druid, and it's even worse. And it's the same fucking game. They made 3 of them.
Well, that's the kind of game you got to ask yourself, you feeling brave tonight?
Yeah. Wow.
How brave?
Yeah.
You can get all of them for $40.
I'm in.
Exciting Age of Fear series.
The game looks it looks like Roll20. It looks like they're playing Roll20.
Yeah. It's really weird with like all the, Oh no, Age of Fear 2, the Chaos Lord, it's got some succubus art.
Yes.
Ooh, boy, this is some good stuff.
It's bad.
Is it as bad as watching people LARP? And nothing, by the way, nothing against LARPing. Nothing against it at all. But it's like watching other people play Dungeons and Dragons and stuff when you think like you're high and mighty like I am.
Totally.
Maybe.
Yeah. The cutscenes totally look like the fantasy version of like Wing Commander, but with like a lower budget.
Yes, that's a good way to say it.
I feel bad for this girl being in this FMV because like, honey, you're the best part of the game. Now everything else is just
It's really, and they reused her for the third one.
What are you doing in here? Can I come on over to your place?
It's terrible.
It's real bad.
Look at Carmichael. He's sitting with you.
Oh, is he? Oh God! Now it's just all messed up.
Oh, hi.
Try to refresh.
Hi, buddy.
These are left over from.
Don't get me sick, okay? Don't get me sick.
Go in my house.
These are left over from St. Louis, so they might not be chopped correctly. I lost all of my presentations in XSplit, so that's real fun.
Yeah.
No one cares though. Well, Hand of Fate 2.
Going directly into my cart.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this looks fucking fantastic.
It looks so bad. Please don't buy it, please.
Oh, I'm buying it, baby. I play it so you don't have to. I think is how I take those kind of games. Like, you can watch me play it and just have fun, and you don't have to buy it then. I'll buy it for you.
What the fuck, man? There's like 30,000 people have bought this. Why?
Okay, I've been zoning out. What game are you talking about?
Because it's been out since 2011, dude.
The longer we talk about it, the more likely some idiot's going to buy it.
Zeke already bought it. He's the idiot.
It's that bad.
And the problem is that idiot might be Zeke, so let's just move on.
I know. Man.
Grim times.
Grim times.
They've sold like 30,000 of each one.
Here's what I'm going to suggest everybody do. If you're thinking about buying this game, instead take that money and go to the RollPlay store, buy yourself a new shirt.
Oh yeah, let's talk. We've got a great
shirt.
I don't have it. I don't have the graphic put into the presentation, but yeah, Danger Sense shirt is live. Yeah. It comes with Max. When you open the box, they put a little audio cue there, and it's just Max saying Danger Sense. It's crazy. I don't know how they did it.
You open the box, it's like Danger Sense, Adam.
Yeah, exactly. It's that right there. I don't know how we did that and pulled it off, but that's live. 15% off, by the way, till the last day of November. So if you want to save some monies, feel free. Dan, what's been going on with you? I've been, as I do oftentimes when there's no games to play, I watch to see what other streamers are playing, and I think, have reached the bottom, maybe? How's Elix and Gothic? Are you having fun with those?
Elix was kind of a mess. I gave it a good chance. I gave it like 2 good long streams, and just it's one of those games where it's originally in one language, and they translate it, but not with using a really good translation service. So like all of the sentence structure is awkward, and the conversations are weird, and and the combat itself was just such a bizarre combat system. I don't know what they were going for. It was just like all these different types of combat just blended together in a not great way. I wasn't a fan. I think it could be fixed over time if they patch it and fix some things, but overall it's just not great. But I've switched to Gothic today, which is their game from 2001, and that game has been great so far.
Yeah,
really liking Gothic. Yeah, it came out in 2001.
Are there enough is there like an HD patch for that, or did you have to mod it?
Yeah, there's a mod that mods it to a high resolution, and then another mod that adds DX11 support. It does cause it to crash quite oftenly, but like usually like once an hour you get a crash and have to reload.
Yeah, it's got those sexy Dark Age of Camelot graphics. There's like a knight fighting some velociraptors with no arms. That's cool.
Yeah,
nice.
It's fully voiced, so which is great. Like it's old school. Like it came out before Morrowind, and it has a lot of ideas that weren't done before, like day and night cycle, weather changes in real time, NPCs having schedules that walk around and do stuff. Like it was revolutionary back in the day for this game, and the translation is much better than Elix's translation is.
Huh? I didn't realize that was open world game. There weren't very many like big open world games back then, I don't think. And I never considered Gothic to be one of them. I thought it was super linear. But
yeah, it's actually open. You can walk anywhere you want, but you will get your ass kicked because there's monsters everywhere.
Huh.
If you stray too far from the road and stuff.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you've been enjoying that. What's are you gonna be playing the Xenoblade Chronicles on Friday? Are you checking that out? The JRPG?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, I'll be checking that one out.
Yeah.
Hope it's good.
Same here.
The Wii U one was okay. I hope it was like
was that the one? What was the Xenoblade one that came out on the Wii that had you could only play it in English if you played it with the like UK voice acting? Which one was that? Because that one was really bad.
I don't know which one that was.
God, it was like
I'm not sure.
That might have been Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but Xenoblade Chronicles 1 was.
I think it was
really
just Xenoblade. I think it was just Xenoblade. It wasn't the Chronicles. He was the one with Shulk and the Monado.
Oh yeah, no, the one that comes out Friday is the sequel to that. That game was actually good. What are you talking about?
No, that game wasn't good. I think we might be thinking of different games because this wasn't Chronicles.
No.
This one was just Xenoblade.
It had Shulk and the fucking Monado and the two giant titans, and you fight on the good titan, and then you go over the bad titan.
I think the voice acting I think that one just threw me off. Like the voice acting was so corny that I was like, I can't.
I played that on the Dolphin, if you know what I'm saying, and it was much better back then.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That's fair.
Yeah, that was Xenoblade 1.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles is the one that has that's the one that Dan's talking about, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The one that has the fucking awful, the music that is probably the worst, most offensive video game music of all time.
It was the one where you eventually get a mech suit and you can fight in mechs. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even big. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was pretty rough. But yeah, we'll see. And then there's not much else out till the rest of the year. There's like the week after that is Monster Hunter World Online 2 3rd edition Monster Hunter something. Whatever that game's called, because all the fucking Monster Hunter titles out there. The demo is out for that.
There's one game that's coming out. It's actually two. There's Hello Neighbors coming out on the 8th.
What the fuck is Hello Neighbor?
Oh, finally.
Yeah,
it got
coming out.
delayed, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tiny build game.
Really?
You gotta like sneak into your neighbor's house because he's up to like shenanigans. You have to figure out what he's up to without getting caught. It's supposed to be pretty good.
Stealth horror game.
Their booth was always really good. Their like PAX booth was pretty funny. Yeah, I remember the year that they started shipping that around. Yeah.
And if you're into PoE, they're launching an expansion on the 8th.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm. Are you going to be playing that, Dan?
Yeah.
Did you see what they launched today on Twitch?
What?
They launched that you can now idle in Path of Exile streams and get free MTX stuff.
Yeah.
So I've just might have a PoE stream open right now and just idling, trying to get some free items.
It's a great way to boost your the viewers for that game if you give away free shit by just
It's
idling
fucking super smart. Yeah,
It's like mining for Bitcoin, but
it is
with gear.
I have no idea how it works though. I don't know if like something pops up on your screen says like you are winner, ha ha ha, or if you just get something. I don't know.
That was a good Simpsons deep cut. I like that.
I don't know where the item goes. So once I know, I'll definitely figure.
I haven't heard someone to reference that in a while. Usually it's just me that's referencing that. You're a winner.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
Let's play some pachinko.
Oh, apparently you get a message. But yeah, Dan, I'm super hyped for the new league. Did you see all the new skills and everything?
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I like the map system. It was a lot of fun, and having a whole overhaul of that end game is going to be makes me want to do it again.
Did you ever kill Shaper?
No, I stopped playing. There was too much stuff going on at the time. But I think this time I'll kill Shaper.
You should kill Shaper.
And his name nemesis this time. Now he has a nemesis.
Yeah, there's a lot. They put in a lot of new bosses and stuff. I'm fucking stoked for that. I'm excited to get that shit tapped back into my veins because it became my life for the better part of 2 months.
Did you ever stop? I still like.
Oh yeah,
even
no,
that long ago that I
hard,
saw you streaming that shit. Like,
no, I hard uninstalled Path of Exile. Like,
Yep.
it was like I beat Shaper. I have to take this game away, or nothing else will be streamed. So that's what happened. But it's all coming back in about a week. I'm excited. My schedule's gonna be ruined probably, but it'll be good.
I don't know if that's a good thing for you.
It'll be great. I'm excited. But anyways, that's next week, so we'll see what happens. Should we go to another plane of existence, y'all?
Yeah, we could. Before we start though, I wanna just make a music suggestion because I know that there are some people in chat who will appreciate it. I got turned on to this band called Heilung today. They're like a Danish like Viking band. I guess they just got signed by a new album or a new like label, and they're really good. I've been listening to them all morning. I will post a link for people who are interested in it, but it's super cool, and it's like good. It's good music to play D&D to. I think you'll enjoy it if you're a nerd. Like
also,
weird music.
It's not the first Shaper kill. It's Adam's the Bandcamp link. Don't click on that clip. It's the Bandcamp link. Yeah,
There you go.
that's not the music. Anyways, we left. Me and Dan bought some libraries or some shit, and I think. Weren't you gonna do something with Berg before we jumped in?
Yes.
I think he was asking about Berg's like backstory and stuff.
Yeah, it was me and Berg
that,
sitting in the inn, our little HQ inn, and I approached Berg and I said something to the effect of tell me a story from your life or something like that. And I was hoping that I could possibly make it into a song or something. I mean, I didn't tell him that, but that's my intention.
Oh,
yeah,
Adam,
right.
I did want to change 2 of my goals today.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
what do you want to change them to?
I want to change the one about getting the artifact and the one about learning the secrets of the ancients. Or the immortals.
The immortals? Yeah, what do you want to change them to?
Some more immediate ones. I want to leave the the wizard's place with something magical, whether it be a spell or an item. And 2, I want to learn
So like something for yourself.
something for myself. Yeah.
Right. So not just the quest goal, but okay, that's cool.
Yeah. And then 2, I want to learn something interesting about the world inside his place. So some knowledge that I wouldn't get anywhere else. Just something in there.
Okay, so like find his library and pillage that shit. Okay, I dig it.
Now, would it be dumb, or not dumb? I guess would it be okay to tailor a goal around a specific quest, or does that not?
No. So yeah, you can totally pair up your quest and your goal if you want to. Yeah. It just means your character personally cares about the quest. You just can't copy it exactly and double dip. It has to be like, while you're on the quest, what's another thing that you're specifically interested in?
Well, I guess I should start with a question. For completing this task, this is not good for any experience points. I'm asking.
Yeah, no, you'll get XP for doing the quest.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be a goal to get XP.
Right.
Okay, that was my question.
Sources of XP are the personal goals and then quests that you get from external sources. So you'll get XP if you come back to Inanna with the experiment.
Okay, cool. So then I will add a little addendum, or not addendum, I don't know, a little attachment to this quest is I want to pilfer something else of value.
Yeah, so you both want to tear to get away with something special.
Oh, I didn't hear. Is that what Ramus just said?
Yeah, Ramus wants to steal something magical. Roll this dude.
Oh, steal something magical. Okay. Well, I don't want to.
I mean, you can
jump on that.
Oh, that's totally fine. But it could be something like focused in a different direction, right?
Let me think about it, and I'll let you know when I come up with something.
Which one do you want to get rid of? Which one do you want to clear for that one?
I'm going to clear the try something new and exciting.
Okay. A blank one for you. Okay. And then Berg, yours are currently heal my arm, find out why bad things are happening to me, and finally be free. What do you want to keep those, or do you want to change any of them out?
I mean, I'd love to change stuff out because the 2 of them are going to be like, it's going to be a while before we actually complete them.
Yeah, but remember, the longer they take, the more likely they are to give you a big batch of XP.
Yeah. I'd say for now we'll leave him. Also, Berg, as far as I know, is the highest level, right? Nobody's on Berg's level, right? Just because he's the. Not that it really matters too much, but I'm saying I'm not like in a.
Yeah.
I will.
Okay. Sully Huffa, do you want to change any of yours?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think because my 3 currently will be fulfilled when we finish here, so.
Yeah, you're certainly on course to resolve some of those.
Oh, you think that, do you? Adam, tell him how it works. Nothing ever goes the way.
You never get what you want. Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons. It's a misery simulator.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So, cool. All right. So let's start that. Let's start with that scene between Kalimat and Berg. Is this taking place in your blood-stained, haunted inn in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, listen, I cleaned it up a little bit. It's still blood-stained, yeah, but it's not.
You did mush the blood around, so that was good. That
clean to the best ability that Berg knows how to clean, which is like
it's still
water.
A hovel.
Move it around a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine it's taking place there.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even remember. If you want to, maybe we can like rewind a little bit. If you want to, like, let's say come in on Sally or Kalimat, sorry, talking to Berg.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we can just frame the scene however we want, right? We don't need continuity from the last episode, so it could just be like the 2 of you. Like, basically, you're getting ready to go to this seclusium. You don't know what's in stock for you. Ramus and Sully are off doing their library thing.
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
We're filming the new hot movie with Matt Damon. We bought a library. It's great.
So we come in and Berg's like,
And that's the story of my life.
Do you have something prepared, Max, or?
No, I mean, I have a basic idea of Berg's backstory, so, you know, I can answer questions and stuff if you want to learn about him.
Okay. Well, it's not necessarily a question type of thing. It's more.
You wanted to know a tale a little bit about his past.
Yeah. You know what? How about this? I'll start. I'll just look at your arm there.
Mm-hmm.
The one that's made of stone or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where I'll begin. Since we have this time together, I thought I'd inquire, if you don't mind, if it doesn't cause any offense. I'd love to hear the story of the granite or stone arm that you have there. How did that come to be?
Wasn't even that long ago, really. Not very interesting, but I can tell you if you want.
Adam, where was that?
It was in the basement under the House of the Falcon.
Right, yeah, okay. So Berg just goes on, like,
You know, the abandoned house we came from. There was a lot of evil there. Dark magic. We had a previous companion that was with us, deceived us, stole away hidden power there. Nearly died and was betrayed by this. I don't even want to call her a woman now. She's something else entirely. But a door there, a very powerful spell. I reached out to try to open the door for my friends. And this happened. And now I bear it as another mark of my pain and my suffering. Fitting, I suppose.
Ah, yes. If I had a gold piece for every time I heard a story of betrayal, I'd be a very, very wealthy man. This door that you speak of, when you grabbed it, it turned your arm to stone. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes.
And the person that betrayed you, have they paid for their crimes?
No, I wouldn't say that. One day, maybe our paths will cross.
Seems, hard to let things go. Would I be correct in assuming that?
The tower tells us destruction and ruin and pain even are needed. I find myself wondering if it's worth it.
I understand that, my friend. Well, I hope that in the coming days, when we have successfully completed our task, that we get your arm fixed, and you would grace me with another story at some time. Thank you, my friend, for sharing that with me.
You're welcome. I may share more, but I must tell you, if you're looking to be cheery and happy, you won't want to hear them.
Don't worry, my friend. I have enough cheer and happiness for the both of us. I guarantee you.
I guess Berg just kind of like looks at his arm and just kind of focuses in on it and moves it around a little bit and thinks back to I think it might have been actually like it wasn't the door, was it? It was a painting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like
it
it was a carved wall.
Yeah, but it was a part of like an entryway or whatever. So
it's fine.
And details.
Yeah.
And you see Calumet go to his backpack or whatever he has to carry things around in. I'm guessing it's just backpack. Grab a piece of parchment and some charcoal, and start not like writing down parts of the story, but also like a very not very good artist, but a very rudimentary sketch of Berg.
Cool. Okay. So Berg, what are you doing to prepare for? If you guys don't already have inspiration, go ahead and mark it. Obviously. Berg, what are you doing to prepare for this journey that's ahead? I mean, Berg, do you even know where you're going or what y'all are doing? Like, Inanna's servant has tasked you with this goal, and that she'll help you if you do it. But where's your head at? Like,
essentially, like as far as Berg knows, he's just been told, like our task is to go kill a wizard, right? Isn't that what it is? Basically,
steal an experiment.
Steal.
Yeah,
okay,
he's working on an experiment that Inanna wants.
That's what it was. I thought killing was a part of it for some reason. No, he knows where we're supposed to like basically thwart this wizard and undermine what he's working on. But so to him, it's just another job. Like it's just another thing to get done. But it seems like this plan requires a lot of, or this task requires a lot of like planning and cunning, which is not one of Berg's strong suits. So he's just kind of going with everything else. In the downtime, maybe he's sharpening, his weapons, his dagger, his sword, or whatever, and practicing and making sure he feels the heft and weight of the weapon. Since other people have handled it recently, he just wants to make sure everything's good with it. Maybe paying attention to looking at it, realizing that the depiction of like the past of the history of the weapon is happening now that he's realized, for him, it actually is moving around and listening to see if he can even hear anything from it. That maybe will help him, because Berg doesn't understand this magic and he doesn't understand the weapon. So he's more just filling the time with things that he's curious about, waiting for the next job to come through and for them to move and do something.
Sure. And so how do you feel about this situation? Like, you have a purpose again, because you've spent several weeks. Hazan basically was like, "Yo, I got to go to head office. You guys are on your own." But the years previous to that, it was just one mission after another, one thing to destroy after another. So are you feeling like reassured having a clear goal ahead of you?
Yeah, a little bit, but not feeling too. He's feeling a little on edge just because of the fact that Inanna does not seem like somebody who keeps her word. And he's feeling a little bit like he's being led to, to another trap or whatever.
As with all barbarians, all smart barbarians, you're distrustful of wizards. It makes sense. They're sneaky folks with their sorcerer's ways.
Yeah.
Speaking of sneaky wizards, Salihafa and Ramus, do you come back to you've done all your library research and you're returning with that in mind. Is there anything else that you need to do in the city before you head down to because you did some research and you learned where the portal is supposed to be, right?
Yeah, we did research. I found out about Utrix, who, transcendent, dwells in the realm outside of reality, walks the streets, blah, blah, blah. Then we learned about the history of the apartment, where it's located, who occupies it, and the fact that it belongs to a dwarven merchant named Sabine. So I don't know. I guess this is a question for Dan. Would we have gone and talk, or do you want to go and try to find Sabine, or do you just want to go back to the inn? Or do you want to do something else entirely?
I don't think Ramus would think that Sabine is important.
Okay.
So probably just go back and grab the group.
Okay.
Because Ramus is kind of impatient, wants to get this over with.
Sure. And I think we said we were going to meet back at the Death Inn, so to speak. So that's where we head.
Right. Okay. The hovel. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you, I guess, at some point later in the day, like some indeterminate amount of time has passed, and the four of you have returned to the hovel in this neighborhood, and like every day, every time you leave and you come back, you're like, wow, this neighborhood is a real shithole. Like it reminds you every time. And it seems like it's getting worse. Like there's a building that has collapsed. Part of the block has been lit on fire. There is more graffiti than there was before. Like it just seems like every day this neighborhood slips further into waste. And so you return from the part of town where these libraries are and come back to this place and take the long walk from the station out to the inn. And as always, the ruins. Now the fire has finally gone out. So there is that smell of smoke in the air, but the ruins, other than the occasional sound of the work of the golem still being performed, it's laying quiet now.
Okay. If we have a decent amount of time before the other group gets back, I want to ritually cast Unseen Servant and just have him clean the inn up, just over the course of time.
Right. Okay. Sure.
It lasts an hour each cast in their rituals, so I can do as much as possible.
Yeah, so when you have a moment, you take 10 and you conjure up the servant and you set it to tidying the place. And I think that's good. Like you're able to keep it free of debris. It doesn't smell of mold or rot. But if you're going to really fix up the place, you'll need supplies. You'll need wood and paint and craftsmen to fix it.
Sure.
It's clean, but it's still a hovel.
Well, this is the guy you bring in to clean up all the shit first before you actually start fixing things. So that's what the Unseen Servant is doing right now. He's cleaning up. Well, you guys probably use the actual restroom. You're not heathens, but
shitting, just shit everywhere. Just
there's probably like there's probably plates and stuff.
They say it's good luck if a bird shits on you. So
yeah,
it's true.
But yeah, just all the clutter and stuff like this. He's not fixing the place up. He's just making it clutterless.
Yeah, keeping it tidy.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, sure.
Yeah, we're just waiting.
Yeah, so you're all there now. You know where you need to go. What do you have a conversation about the approach, or you're just like, all right, everybody, grab your bags, or go down to the slums?
We definitely have. As soon as they get back, me and Ramus kind of fill them in what we learned with Utrix and with the apartment and where it's located and all that stuff. Though we already know where it's all located. In our minds, we know the general area a little bit better now, with what we learned from the library.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say what time of day it was when they get back?
I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? It's like an amount of time later, and you're like, all right, let's get ready to go.
Yeah. I think, if anything, we would probably head out like the next morning. Early morning enough to where it's like a full day ahead, basically. So whatever happens then, I don't really have anything too specific except just getting a full rest and making sure we're not ambushed by people wanting to kill Berg again.
Okay. So you know that the neighborhood that you're going to is not a good one. It's going to take you probably half a day to get there because you can take the train nearby, but then it's going to be a fairly long walk down into a sort of semi-subterranean part of the city. So we talked about this before, that the city of Brass is built on a kind of mount that rises from the desert, and up at the top are the imperial palaces where the immortals live, and then kind of the city spreads out slowly over time, but it's built on the site of a magical like brass mine, essentially. So we talked about how the halflings use like chemicals to dig up the brass from the city, from the veins below the city. And so this neighborhood is kind of it's mostly populated by creatures who are comfortable living in caves or who are mostly nocturnal. And it's like a laborer's ghetto, basically, for monsters. So the place that you're going is not somewhere that people go very often.
Okay. Would it make sense for us to go there then like midday use a tiny hut to camp outside and then go on the next day, or is that risky?
I mean, it's up to you. Like, you know, it's a bad neighborhood, but people live there. It's not like you're going into like a place full of like traps, and I mean, it's your call. You guys decide.
What do you guys want to do? Travel midday, camp there, go the next day, or go early morning and go into the midday, basically, so we only have like half a day of travel, so much, or kind of, so to speak.
Well, once we're inside the place, time will probably move differently than outside. So
Sure.
I think just going there normally would be fine.
Okay. I think that's what we do then. Take our train and go on our way.
Okay, yeah. So as with you get on the train at this formerly nice station that is now kind of fallen to ruin. The train is full of people who do not get off, and you get a lot of kind of strange looks when you get on the train. And then it slowly hemorrhages passengers until you're the only ones left on the train, and it stops at this like terminus station near this bad neighborhood, and you step out, and the station itself is part of the kind of upper area of the neighborhood, but most of this neighborhood is in the mountain and kind of below, so you'll have to head in there. Yeah, I think the station itself is quite quiet.
Are we getting from the people that are there? If it's quite quiet, are we getting a bunch of looks as we get off of this thing and see people in the area?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people get off here. It's the last stop on the line, this particular branch of the line. So as you step out of the brass and wood car that makes up the train, out onto the stone platform, there's a map of the train system in front of you, but it's all of the material that was used to make it, all of the inlaid brass, the bits of semi-precious like stone, have all been picked clean. So it's like the ghost of a map laid out in front of you. And there's a staircase that descends down into the neighborhood proper. Yeah. And I think there are a few people here, but they push past you if you hesitate on the platform, and then they descend down into the city. They're mostly human. Most of the people that live in the city brass are, but you see a couple of dwarves talking that walk past you on one side.
Okay. And you said we're going into like this side of this mountain. Like how big are we talking here? Is it like sprawling? Is it like what?
I mean, I don't think you've ever been to the lower city.
Okay, well, I mean, we start to head towards then, like where we're supposed to be going. At least I do.
Yeah.
Like what am I met with in terms of what I'm seeing here in the side of this mountain?
Yeah, so the platform leads into a tunnel. There's a big staircase, probably wide enough for 6 or 7 people to walk shoulder to shoulder, and it just leads down into the dark. There are globes emitting light up at the top, but there's probably warning signs that say in common and a bunch of other languages that this is a dark neighborhood, that like most of the people that live here have dark vision and you're responsible for your own light sources. But the staircase, for now at least, has some light. It goes down into the side of the mountain several hundred meters, and then beyond that is the neighborhood.
Am I the only one that can't see in darkness again?
No, I can't see either.
Okay.
No, I think only Berg. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have the light cantrip?
No, because I knew that you did.
Okay. Then I will cast. We'll have one source of light then.
Yeah, I did not.
One day when your character, Sally Hoffa, dies, you'll make a character that can see. Why is that a conscious thing, or is it just kind of happened?
How it goes.
It's just kind of how it goes. It's definitely not conscious. Trust me.
Yeah.
If I could get away from people crying that they can't see the map because of the race I choose, I would do that.
Yeah.
But playing a turtle is more interesting than being able to see in the dark. So
That's true. That's true.
Just retroactively, Adam. Because the train ride was pretty long, right?
Yeah, it was like
Long
an
enough
hour.
to have a little bit of a conversation. I wanted to ask Berg, what was the name of the woman that betrayed you guys?
Fuck, what was Anne's name?
Do you need a reminder on that one?
Yeah.
Let me.
The problem is there's so many adventures that Berg has been on that everybody's name just kind of fucking blurs together, and I'm bad myself with names.
Her name was Jiva Tarkus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ziva.
Yeah, so Berg responds just
Jiva.
Okay. And I wanted to have just a brief chat with Sally Hoffa, and we can do this in character.
Sure.
As we're sitting in the trainer, standing in the trainer, whatever. Sully, my friend, I had a question for you. Why did you ask me to read for this group? You know me. You know I'm a trickster. I'm a charlatan at times when I need to be. Why would you ask me for a real reading when you know that's not what I am?
Well, there's always time to get on the right path.
The reason I ask, it's been itching me in the back of my mind. But this is the first time that I haven't made the cards do what I want them to do. I didn't deal from the bottom. I didn't palm any cards. I just let them lay where they were. And I felt something. Something real. It's very strange.
I just sit back in my chair or whatever I'm sitting on in the train, and smile. Probably a very not normal sight for Kalimat to see on my face, and just smile at him. I don't even say anything.
Well, you keep your secrets, friend. I can see you're satisfied with my confusion and my frustration. Seeing you smile still is disconcerting every time I see it, even though it's happened twice in the past 2 days, more than the entire time we've traveled together. And I just go back to thinking, and I change one of my goals, Adam.
Okay.
To find out if the reading had any real meaning behind it, in parentheses, see if events unfold according to the cards.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. So, yeah, I mean, that conversation, you do that thing where you all as a group kind of fall into that lull between talking and then silence, listening to the hushed conversations of the other people in the train, the whispering of the train cars, and then it arrives at the station with the long staircase descending. It's Hulsu Station, and that's the name of the district as well, Hulsu. You don't recognize the origin of that word or what it means.
Gotcha. That was probably like a snapback moment then that happened right as Ramus said he was going to cast light. You were going to cast light. I didn't make that up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are you casting it on Berg again?
Yes, you simpleton. I'll cast it, even though it's beneath me. Here, have some freaking light. And this eerie, not comfortable greenish light appears from Berg's shield. No, his weapon this time, actually.
Okay.
I take it like
the light is hard. It's hard to look directly at, and it seems always to cause glare no matter what. Yeah.
I take a slow look over at the light and turn back. You can't see as well. It's not a waste of time. This serves you as it serves us. Or me, I guess. It's weird to call it a waste.
He has a rough history with light and the sun. Hey, Remus.
Let's not go there, Berg. Not right now. There's too much on my mind.
Fine.
I do wish to hear about that.
I get uncomfortable going into dark tunnels like this ever since that day. So let's just be quiet and just get there fast.
I understand.
I'm with you, Sully. I'd love to hear about this story later. All right, well, it looks like I have the key, and I kind of pop the acorn up in my hand. Now, to find the door.
Well, we know where it is. We just simply have to get into it, I assume. Belongs to a merchant. I would assume they use it and whatnot.
Yeah, so you know that the door, the address that you were given, the area of town that Ninsubur placed into your mind is a tenement building. It's like an apartment or a hive for the workers that live down here. So you'll have to find your way to it and then find the room. And then if you hold the acorn and pass through the door of the room, you will, instead of going into the room, you will find yourself somewhere in the proximity of Utrix's lair.
Okay. Do we know how far we are from the apartment after doing the research on it? You said it was pretty far back, right?
If you're this is a warren of connected tunnels. It has its own like market, and there are places where people live. There are shops. It's essentially a village, but it's all underground tunnels. Some of which are going to be too small for you to go through, right? Like the part of the area that the kobolds live in tend to be like quite small and tight, so people can't follow them in there. So it'll take you a while of navigating, as long as you don't get lost.
Okay. Well, we start down that path.
Okay.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah, I mean the first step is the steps down the stairs. So you begin to walk down into the catacombs or tunnels below this part of the district.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So do you want to take a break there, or should we just keep going?
No, let's just do what we did last night. Let's go for another hour.
Okay. Nice. Okay, cool. All right, so you descend into the darkness. The light of the spell cast on Berg's hammer, creating a sickly kind of will-o-wisp light on the walls. The walls here seem fairly like clean. There's no graffiti or anything. It looks like a mining tunnel, basically, and you just descend down simple stone stairs into the earth. When you get to the bottom, you find yourself on a platform overlooking a kind of a large open cavern, essentially. It's sort of stadium-sized, I would say, and down at the bottom there are tents and little temporary buildings, and you can smell from here a bunch of different scents wafting up from what is obviously the market. Some are the smells of the bodies that are moving around in the market. Some are strange meat cooking in stalls. You see down below a man leading an enormous lizard on a leash pass through the crowd, and and you're out on this little platform, and there are two long staircases that lead down in there. The whole market for now seems vaguely illuminated by a coating of fungus or something that's on the roof of this cavern. And then from here, there are tunnels that lead out in different directions out into the district.
Okay.
Now, do we even need light, or is this is all lit up?
So you'll need your own light source later. Basically the warning was from the city, and it's like, we don't guarantee any light source down here. Carry your own.
Okay.
But here is where the people of this district do trade with people from other districts. This is their marketplace, so they keep it lit. They have this fungus that glows on the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so who's leading the expedition to where you're trying to go?
I will, if no one else wants to.
Okay.
I'm probably in the middle with Berg, probably in front, Ramus behind, and you might be up at the very front. I think would be.
Makes
I'm
sense.
definitely-
You're kind of leading it. You're gung ho. You're a gung ho kind of guy. So.
Oh, definitely the most curious, the most. I keep my eyes open. I love
Like Ramus.
seeing new sites and window shopping and that kind of thing.
Ramus might be in the back, kind of uncomfortably going down.
I'm very close to you, Berg, with the light source. Just very, very close.
I think Berg is actually taking note of this too. Like when you mentioned that, like Berg teased you a bit, and then you actually had like a serious response. Berg's just kind of like,
Every time I see like a short person that looks goblin shaped, I get really nervous, like just really just uncomfortable, and I start prattling on about something else.
Yeah. So as you head out into the market, because you have to cross it to get to the tunnel you think is the way. They are you find yourself surrounded by a broad menagerie of creatures. Again, mostly humans, but humans who are used to dwelling down in the dark. So they're wearing kind of dull, drab workers' clothes, and they're interacting with a handful of, like, you see. I mean, it's up to you. Like, I know for the characters that we've seen their adventures, you recognize like a group of kind of rust-colored sort of lizard creatures bickering over some livestock. You recognize them as kobolds.
Rust monsters? Oh, okay, cool, good.
Yeah,
Jesus.
There's a group.
Berg just lashes out and goes crazy in the market.
Well, no, and actually that's a great point. So as you walk by one of the stalls, there's a group of mogwai, which are these like enormous, like bulbous-headed, long, pointy-eared, sort of white, like grub white goblinoids. They've got big kind of moon color yellow eyes. There's a group of them, and they're sitting eating like a fried rust monster. It's lying on a table and it's cracked open, and they're like picking at its organs. And maybe one of them like looks at you as you walk by.
And, who wants some?
Yeah, they just kind of like look at you like, oh, they like strangers in the market. And you have a bunch of people in the market shouting to you and trying to hawk various things. A woman with a basket of mushrooms that kind of thrusts them out in front of you. But you're making your way through this crowd.
Just because I don't want to metagame too much, I'm going to make a perception roll to just see if I can tell if that's a rust monster that they're eating.
It would be it'd be Arcana.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
Wow.
Damn.
look, that's going to provoke a strong reaction due to a little bit of history.
That's a 1 out of 400 chance you just did right there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So who is eating the rust monsters? You just said it's two random kobolds?
No, it's a little
Mogwais.
cluster of these mogwai. They're like kind of like goblins. They're like pale and kind of grubby looking, little fat bodies, and they're picking these organs out of the rust monster.
How far off are they from where we're standing and where we're walking?
Oh, they're like
by?
right next to you. There's a stall behind them where there's a dwarf, big, huge, round dude with no hair, and he's stirring a big copper pot full of. He's basically a crawfish boiling a bunch of rust monsters, and so he's just kind of like turning this pot around, big apron on, no shirt, and they're sitting out front of his stall at the one table that he has. They're like picking at this monster.
Last question for you, Adam. How would it be completely out of the ordinary for people to keep rust monsters as pets?
I mean, maybe if you had a reason to if you had like metal you wanted to get rid of, but usually you can sell metal and like break it down. So not really.
And you
like
had
apparently they're food here.
You had no love for any armor at all or keeping it.
Well,
ever.
The sea turtles are all mages and stuff, so we don't have armor, right? So
it's true.
I would think it would be like. My initial thought was like, oh yeah, they're a way of defense of this, or a way to like defend the city. We have rust monsters stationed with all of our guards, so to speak, and they're kind of like their familiars or their friends.
I mean, if you were a non-metal using culture, sure, they'd be good against your enemies if they had metal.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I'll just kind of lean over and say, why do you eat such a friendly creature?
Do you speak Orcish?
I believe I do. I do. Yes, I speak in Orcish.
Okay, let me.
Aquan,
so you could
Draconic, Common, and Orcish.
You could probably kind of piece together because they speak Goblin, which is related. One of them just snaps at you rudely. He's just like ka-chak, and you're like, ugh, step back. And the other one like grabs a piece of organ meat and like bites it off and like gets juice on his little grubby face. He looks up at you and he holds it out, this piece of like a liver or something, and he says in Goblin, but you can parse through Orcish. He says, "Good." And like puts their mouth like basically bisects their whole head, so his head like opens like a garber, and he just throws it in, slurps it down.
Okay, I just. With a complete look of distaste, I look disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. They just kind of turn slowly.
One of them with his big globular eyes just like watches you go and is playing absently with like a shell cracker. He's kind of like looks at you like.
And then as we're with the group, as we're just kind of casually getting through the market, I think I bring up the idea that in turtle culture, we keep rust monsters as a way of defense for the city. There's not very much metal within the entire city at all. We use like shell and whatnot since we're on the bottom of the ocean. So metal's not a common thing. So we keep them as, some people keep them as pets, but other people just keep them as a way of defense. I don't know if that sparks any interest in Berg, since you probably fucking hate those things, but that's up to you. You're muted.
Fuck. All right, good. No, Berg watched the whole thing and just like,
Good. Better dead. Wouldn't want to eat though.
Solly
So
Hoff
as
will
you,
remember that. Kind of pop.
So as you move your way through the market, you're just like assailed by strange people and unusual practices. But this is a place where people do trade. You know, you walk by and you see someone selling coal out of a basket, someone else selling scavenged mining equipment. It's basically like the center of trade for this district. And I think that as you're approaching the exit, what's your survival skill? If you were to roll survival, what would it be, Kalimat?
+1.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. All right. So you're leading the group, and you're like, let's go. Or you're going this way. You're pretty sure that the tunnel ahead of you is the one that you need to go to. But as you're getting to the edge of the district, Berg, you hear a voice. You hear a woman's voice in Orcish say to you, just quietly. She's just nearby. She says, "I don't recognize you, handsome." Anyone who doesn't speak Orcish doesn't understand that. Do you turn to look, or are you just like?
I think Berg kind of does one of these, just like just turns like an ear towards it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then the woman's voice says again, "Yes, I'm speaking to you."
I believe you're mistaken.
About which, not seeing you before, are you not being handsome? And do you turn to like actually look at the person you're talking to, or are you just kind of trying to walk by?
I think he's still just kind of like this, like kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
Both.
You hear a man's voice say in Orcish, "Why so rude? Come over here, have tea with us. Your friends are welcome too, even the pink skin, I suppose."
Berg like looks at the other guys, just for any sign of like.
Well, I think I'm the only one that speaks Orcish, so.
No, I do too.
Okay. Well, I say in common, we do not have time for this, Berg. Perhaps on the way back, and I kind of like say we need to fucking go.
I say in Orcish, I'm like, oh, come on now. We could wait for Berg if he needs to get to some relaxation, I suppose.
I don't need anything. We can go.
You do, my friend. You do definitely need some things.
The people that called out to you are pushing like through the edge of the crowd, and you can see moving towards you, Berg. There's two of them. They're both. Here's the thing about half orcs is that it's not like you can look at a person like they might be orcs, they might be half orcs. Basically any amount of orc blood in you means you're a half orc. And so they share heritage with you. There's a woman who is like 7.5, 8 feet tall, quite broad at the shoulder. She's wearing a like a fur kind of like top and like trousers and boots. She has a two-handed sword on her back. She has long, bright red hair, and it's braided on one side with little bits of feather and bone. she has like quite long tusks jutting out of her bottom jaw, and she has these like ice blue eyes. And then next to her, there's another half orc. Now he seems more human. He's like quite thin. His tusks aren't as pronounced, and he has a like a receding hairline, but his hair is like quite long and braided down the back. And he has like a half plate, like a breastplate, I guess. And it looks well used. It's like dented in places, and he has a couple of knives on his belt. And they're coming towards you, and the woman is smiling.
Berg stands there for a sec, just kind of one, odd to find other half orcs, and two, find other ones that are interested in talking to him. Like,
yeah.
To find anybody interested in talking to Berg other than just like, who the fuck are you? You know, like kind of is kind of taking him aback. He doesn't know how to react exactly. So that's where he's coming from.
Yeah, she comes out up to you, and she puts her hand out to you. What do you do?
Berg kind of like cocks his head a little bit, like he's kind of like just stunned in this moment. Like it's just he doesn't socialize really, least of all with people of his own, lineage or race or whatever.
In Draconic, I turn to Kalimad and say, "We do not have time for this."
And I turn to him in common and say, was there some sort of limit? And also, don't speak to me in a language that our friends can't understand. It's rude.
It's not the two of them I was keeping it from. Still in Draconic. It's
so while you're chatting, so Berg, she puts out her hand to you, and you can see that as she does, her sleeve rides up slightly, and she has like she has like a bad scar on her wrist, and it goes like up, like she was burned or something. Mm-hmm. It carries down onto part of her hand and then up onto her elbow, but you don't see all of it. She puts her hand out, and then if you don't take it, she scowls a little, and she says in Orcish, "Don't be afraid, Berg, was it? We don't bite. We just thought maybe you were lost." She like looks around. This neighborhood can be unforgiving, and she looks across the way, and you can see there's a group of there's like a dwarf and a human, and they're doing some kind of transaction, and the dwarf hands the human a bunch of like ropes, and they're all attached to the necks of these kobolds, like a half dozen kobolds, and he hands it to him and takes his coin and like shakes it and puts it in his belt, and she looks at that interaction and looks at you, and she's like, this neighborhood can be unforgiving.
Real quick housekeeping here. Did anyone say my name out loud?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Kalimat did.
Okay. All right. Berg looks back at her and is like,
no offense meant. I don't talk to others like us often.
She nods and she says, There's an Orcish word for like separation, like someone who is like taken from their clan, and that's what she says. She's like, you are, and then like that.
Yeah,
word.
that word.
It doesn't mean to offend you. It's just
it's just a point of fact, right?
Raised among orcs and raised not among orcs.
Right. Yeah, I think Berg like nods, and then Berg asks her,
we don't make it here often. Is there anything we should know before moving forward?
She says, well, this part of the city can be dangerous, but for us, any part of the world can, especially going about unchaperoned. These three, none of them are your masters. And she says it like a statement, like she's asking, but even if we're like, yes, this one owns me, she's like telling you they're not.
Yeah.
But she's expecting an answer.
No.
She nods. Good. And do you have one somewhere above? Are you on an errand?
Kind of.
She nods. She says, you don't have to tell me anymore. These things are complicated. And she says, but Be careful. Don't get separated from your friends. The dwarves down here are opportunistic. You might find yourself with a rope around your neck, net thrown over you. Stay with your friends. They're going to attract a lot of attention, especially that one. And she looks at Kalimat. But that's better than being alone.
I think at this, Burke, he like thanks her, and then he like thinks for a second. You can see him like kind of visibly like think, like trying to remember something, because he hasn't used this phrase in a while, but it's in Orcish, and the phrase means break free of your binds and live strong. It's just something like said amongst orcs to
totally. Yeah. And she like grabs you by the neck, like the sides of your shoulders, and like looks you in the. I think she like bonks her forehead on your forehead.
Yeah.
And she says, "All bonds be broken," and then like holds you at arm's length, and she says, "If you want to find me again, my name is Lual. This is my brother Ishum. We live down here. We're not hard to find. I hope I see you again."
And are you?
And then just Berg, like, motions to the other, lets him leave.
Cool. Okay. So they walk back to the tea shop they were drinking at, just like talking quietly in Orcish. And her brother is teasing her about like, see, not every handsome man that you're attracted to like wants your attention. And she's like, "Shut up, you. He was just shy." And so they disappear out into the crowd, and like people have been moving around you, kind of like to get past.
As they probably walk off, I go up to Berg. Berg, what was that last phrase? That was not in my books I studied. I do not recognize it.
It's an old phrase amongst clans of orcs. It means break free of your binds and live strong. I haven't said it for a very long time.
I shall add that to my books and make sure it's included in all future. Kind of turn around. We should go.
Berg, if you, after this, and as we're walking, Berg, after this quest is completed and everybody's happy, should you like to steal away and visit them again? I'd very much like to come with you. Just putting a little seed in your ear, seeing if you'd like that as well.
Maybe, if there's time. The way my life goes, there is very little of that.
All right, continuing on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you set out. So the group of you, you get turned around several times, right? Kalimat, you're able to kind of keep your bearings, but it's complex, right? You're like, I think it's this way, and then you'll hit a cave-in, and then you're like, all right, we have to go back and track around the other way, and then you'll like go down under the road you think that you're on, and the further away from the market you get, the more sort of cloistered this place becomes, until you find yourself in like essentially a residential hive, mostly of humans, but you're definitely not here for. People look at you suspiciously, right? You get a lot of stares from windows. These are buildings built into the side, like they're essentially caves, but they're stacked on top of each other. They're suspicious for a reason. Like you don't live here, so you have no reason to be here. And you think you're approximately in the right neighborhood, but you're not exactly sure where from here. You know you're in the vicinity, but I think that the group of you kind of stop at the corner of three tunnels that's open with some of these buildings kind of built into the walls around you, and that's when you realize like, okay, you don't know where to go from here.
Did you?
So now hold on a second here.
Yep.
We have the place in our mind, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know you're near. You can feel it. It's like you have a word on the tip of your tongue. So you're in the right vicinity, but you're not sure. These buildings all kind of look the same, and plus you can only ever see 30 feet around you, and then the little lights that the humans have in their homes kind of glowing. So it's disorienting being down here.
Okay. I stop. You see Calimont stop and look around. And then he turns back to you with a flourish, to the group with a flourish, and he goes, I must confess, I am very lost. All of this looks so similar. I can't seem to find my way anymore. Can anyone offer any suggestions? I'm open to them.
Can I just make a survival check to see if I just know?
Yeah, totally.
12.
And I think you're like, well, I think it's around here somewhere.
Okay.
Like you're in the vicinity, but yeah. You're not doing any better than Calimont.
I just start to spin and try to figure out my bearings on the place. I don't say anything.
I try as well. Like, well, maybe the gods will help us, and I cast got that cantrip on myself.
Guidance
On myself, and ask the gods, and then try to do a survival check myself to see if I can figure it out.
Okay.
And nope.
Oh boy, no.
Even with the D4.
Go ahead and roll that D4.
Let's get a 12 as well, just so.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
At max. 12 total.
Okay.
It's a good roll on the D4 though. Good job.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Do we don't know the name of the place, right?
No, because it doesn't have a name, right? It's just
it's just a residence, right?
It's just like one of these buildings.
Yeah.
Now you could ask. You have a name, right? You know that it belongs to. It's the tenement that the landlady is Sabine.
Sabine, so. Yeah. And I would think since we looked this up in the library, is it the case that this place changes so often that it's hard to keep any records whatsoever of it to begin with, in terms of like the layout?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's something I didn't know. They knew that. Sally Hoffa and Ramos knew that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's information that we kind of just retconned right now.
Okay, cool.
I figured we would know where we're going. Yeah.
Well, all right then. If you would allow me one quick moment, I'm going to ask the locals if they can point us in the right direction. Unless anyone else has a better idea.
Be careful what you say to them. Berg? I just kind of push my hand.
Don't be so free about saying my name out loud.
Right after I say Berg, I take my hand as I gesture it over to you and put it over my mouth and just nod.
Yes, of course. Forgive me. It will be my friend in open company and Berg enclosed.
Berg just gives a nod.
All right. Well, just meet me back here in 2 shakes.
Okay. So where do you go?
I try and like see in a public place. I don't just go knocking on random doors. Like if
there's essentially like openings that lead into the kind of warrens on either side. So there'll be people like around there that you could just approach.
Okay. Now the whole scheme for me is to pretend that I am here as an emissary for someone who wants to be a slumlord.
Right.
So I'm an emissary for someone up top who wants to own property down here and make money off of it.
Okay. Sure.
So that's what I'm going around.
So as you're walking, you're like getting into character?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that look like? Do we see you like change your pose? Do you like what do you do? Like you see a group of people sitting on the front steps of one of these buildings, and you start walking towards them. And they haven't looked at you yet, but what do we see?
Oh, you see like kind of a look of disgust, and he doesn't like this person I'm portraying doesn't like being down here. It's a shitty task. I'm used to being in opulence, and this is awful, and I hate it. But I'm here to accomplish something, so I stride up, just brows down, just you there. Excuse me.
So you walk up, and there's a mixed group of men and women. There's maybe like a half dozen of them. They're like youngish, probably like in their 20s. They're all pretty filthy. Most of them don't have like shoes on, and they're just sitting outside talking. One of them is eating a rat that's been stuck on the end of a piece of wood. And you walk up, and they all kind of look up at you, and they have these kind of roomy like they don't use their eyes much. And you notice their noses all kind of twitch when you walk up. And one of them is like, "Who's this now?" And the others kind of look at each other, and they're like, "A stranger. I don't recognize him."
Well, you wouldn't recognize me. I don't come down here. I was going to say often, but ever would be proper.
Not from.
I'm actually here now. If you would let me, there is some coin in it for you if you give me some information. I'm here at the behest of my patron, and he has taken an interest in owning property in the whatever you call this underworld. And I'm looking for someone, and if you can point me in the right direction, I will give you. Now I don't know what a reasonable amount would be. Like $100. I'll give you 50 now, 50 later, kind of a thing.
Yeah, like I mean, these people are not super well off.
Right.
Like a gold piece now and a gold piece when you get there is another thing.
Okay,
that
that's
would
what
be like a good thing.
If you tell me where this person is, I'll give you a gold now, and then if the information proves true, I will come back and give you a gold later.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. 17.
Oh yeah, no problem. You're real good at this. So what happens is they look at each other, and one of them stands up, and he says Zrig can guide you, and he takes a step forward, and another one grabs him and sticks, and he's like and like falls down.
I missed that, Adam. Sorry, cut out.
He sticks
okay.
what?
So he one of them gets up and he's like, Zrig will guide you, and he takes a step forward. Another one gets up behind him and sticks a knife in his neck. And then he grabs his neck and he's just like, and like falls over. And then the one behind him is like, Des knows the way. I have seen all these tunnels. And then somebody else jumps on his back and like pushes him onto the ground. And she's like, Pekrin knows the best way through the tunnels. And they basically just start scrapping with each other. And what do you do?
How many of them are not stabbed yet?
There's 6 of them total, and they all are fighting now. They're all just like biting each other and punching and stabbing or bludgeoning. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. How would I think I would just stand back in disgust and wait until this fray has resolved itself.
Okay. All right. So after, like, it's quick. After that, one of them stands up. She stands up and like brushes herself off, and she's got blood all over her, and she looks at you, and she says,
You see me take out a cloth from my sleeve and just kind of like, wiping whatever may have splashed on me.
Yeah. So she looks at it and she says, Gom is the strongest. That gold belongs to her. She looks at it and looks at you, and she says, she will show you the way. And as she takes a step forward to like take the coin from you. Do you give it to her?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So she steps forward. You see behind her the one that got stabbed in the neck. He gets up off the ground and he's just like, and like slides the knife out of himself and like shakes it off, throws it on the ground, and like rubs the wound, and it's gone. And another one you see him like crack it. He got a headlock, and someone broke his neck, and he gets up and like cracks his neck back into place. And they all get up and kind of scowl at each other, and there's some like minor hissing. And and Gom, she's like, let's go, stranger.
Do I know what kind of beings these things are?
I mean, they looked human to you.
Okay, so I would have no idea. This is all just as surprising to me as it is to everyone else. Okay, good.
Oh, they've murdered each other thousands of times.
It's not surprising to them. This is a normal way for them to resolve these sorts of things.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, to me, I was talking about like chat. Like everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. No, you're missing out too. So
okay.
Yeah. So she just kind of like, yeah, I'll take that gold, and she like tucks it into her. She's got a vest, tucks it into her vest, and then I don't know. Does she follow you back to the group, or is the group tailing you?
I instruct her. Let's see. I think I would go to this place first. These are youths, right? They're younger.
Yeah, they're
right.
Like they're like teenagers.
Okay. Okay. So I'll scout the location by myself as to not draw suspicion to everybody else, and it's just me and the winner, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, I'll go with her to the location, and then this is my plan is to go to the location, give her the other gold, have her get out, and then retrieve everybody else.
Okay. And so what did you tell her? You said you're looking for Sabine's tenement?
Yes.
All right. So you're walking, and she's doing that thing where she like dashes a little bit ahead of you and then comes back to you, and then like dashes ahead a little bit and then comes back. And she's making eyes at the people that are in. You can't see in the dark, right?
Nope.
Okay. So what's your like light source, or do you? Because she can.
Okay. Is it? So this part of the place is super dark.
Yeah, before you leave the tenement, she looks at you and she says, "How came you so far without a source of light? Can you see in the tunnels?" She like looks up at you because you don't. I mean, she doesn't know what the hell you are either.
Well, here's the thing. If I can't see, we'd have to retcon that because I would have to be able to see who I was talking to. So I do have let's see, a burglar's pack, and I think that has candles.
Burglar's pack.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would have like a candle with a guard on it or something like that, where I was. Yeah.
All right. So you're leading her by candlelight, and I think maybe instead she says, she's like, came all this way with only a candle. You're brave. This is a bad place, especially for shiny people like you. You haven't been robbed yet. You're lucky to get to Gom without being robbed. Gom will make sure it doesn't happen. And she like looks at some urchin on the side of the street and like hisses at him.
Well, I guess I stumbled upon the correct person as a guide. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
She says, this one's name is Gom.
Gom. Gom. Gom. Well, Gom.
Yeah,
we're walking.
When you say that, she touches her face, and you couldn't see it before because of all the grime, but she has like a moon-shaped like kind of birthmark like around one eye. And she says, means the moon in rat speak.
Ah. I knew I'd heard that word somewhere before. And as we're walking along, whenever she comes back to me, you simply must teach me that trick where you seemingly stab someone in the neck and then the wound disappears.
So she grins at you and licks her lips, and she says, easy to learn. Just give us your hand, and like reaches her little grubby hands for you.
Oh, no, please. That will not be necessary. Will you show me on your hand and tell me how it's done? I've seen a mummer's farce before, similar to this, but nothing with such visceralness.
Shakes her head. No, fool. Cannot be taught. Is in the blood or the spit through the teeth.
Magic means then. Is that the case?
She shakes her head. No magic this. Born this way. All are.
All are down here.
No. Family. Mine.
Oh, it's inherited. You got it from your mother and father, so to speak.
She shrugs. No mother, father, us. From the Warren. The pack. Blessing of the Rat King.
Oh. So what would you call yourself? You can look upon me and see my scales and see my horns, and I would tell you that I am part of the dragonkin. If I were to ask you the same question, what would you reply?
She just like looks at you like you're talking crazy. She's like, what is this dragon?
Ah, I see. Would it be good to assume or correct to assume that you are of relation to this, did you say Rat King?
It's Rat King, best big brother, father, uncle, all.
Ah, you share blood with this person then.
She shakes her head and she says, all have blood. Like, of course, I have blood. They all do. What are you talking about?
Ah, I see. There's a lack of communication. All right. Do you have a father?
She nods. She says, Rat King, yes.
Do you have a mother?
Rat King also mother.
Oh. Well, that's intriguing, to say the least.
She just kind of shrugs. She's like,
Yeah.
strange words, you. Why come you down here so far? Belong you up above, I think.
Oh, yes, of course. I would never come down here unless I was charged with it by my patron. He is a very, very wealthy man, and he wants to invest. You know, it's nothing you really need to concern yourself with. Just know that I was charged to do something, and I'm here to do it. And I want to get it done as quickly as possible with the least amount of friction, or let me see, a word you might know. Pain.
She grins at you and she says, no avoiding that. Not down here. And she turns and kind of like scampers ahead of you.
Okay. What the fuck?
So she leads you to what looks like just another of these kind of built into the wall like buildings. And she stops a little ways ahead, and before you get there, and she points at it, and she says, "Sabine, that."
Ah. Do you know where I can find this person?
Inside. Sabine is in charge, runs place, collects money.
As I'm looking around, does this place fit with my mind?
Yes, yeah, it feels familiar to you.
Okay. Thank you. I will now conduct business of my own. So, I'll tell you what. Gob, was it? What was your name again?
She scowls. She says, Gom, like moon.
Ah, yes. Well, I have 2 gold pieces for you. 2 more gold pieces for you. Now, 1 gold piece is one I promised.
Yeah, and
The
just,
other
puts her
gold
puts her
piece-
hands out like, give it to me.
Yep, I gave her the one that I promised.
Yeah, she takes it and tucks it
And
into her clothes.
I pull out another one. And the other gold piece is for you to forget you ever saw me. Can you maybe innuendo is not a good plan, probably. How about the other gold piece is to tell no one that you saw me? No weird talking, weird looking. Nothing about dragons.
She shakes her head and she says, gold of much use to Gom, but secrets to keep from clan. It is not done.
Oh, you wouldn't be keeping a secret.
The
If
Rat
someone
King-
asks, you can tell them. But if no one asks, then you don't need to say anything.
And
Is that right?
She kind of like you can see whatever she's thinking about is hurting her, and she kind of gets like small and calculated and like whispers to herself. She looks at you and she says, "All knowledge belongs to the Rat King. Your coming and going, our speech, your strange talk, all must be told.
Okay.
Keep your gold." And she
Yes.
kind of
No, before you leave,
like, it's
Before you
causing
leave-
her pain to have to do this.
I have another solution. You ready? This is to wait 2 days before you tell everyone. You can tell everyone. You can shout it from the roof. Well, roof. You can shout it from the windows or whatever. Tell everyone you know that you saw me, but wait 2 days. Can you promise me that?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. 25.
Oh yeah, okay. So she nods and she says, "In trade for gold, quiet. 2 days pass. But
Yes.
Gom wants another thing.
Oh, okay. I'm listening.
Has the stranger seen it? The moon."
I have seen the moon. And you see his hand like come like just like shadow her face like this.
Yeah, she recoils a little.
Yep.
And actually, when she does, when you get closer and she recoils, her skin, we get a close-up of your hand approaching her face. Her skin grows these like coarse black hairs as if in response to your proximity. And then as you move away, they recede back into her face.
Okay.
And she like hisses a little bit and recoils a little from you, but is still like eyes locked on yours.
I have seen the moon. And you hear his voice get like to his real voice.
Mm.
I have seen the moon. At night. On a cloudless night. It is one of the most beautiful sights to behold. And to remember it. And you see like this was a distraction.
Mm.
And you see the card pop up.
Right.
I give you this.
And she looks up at it, and her eyes have like welled up, and tears like part the grime on her cheeks, and she snatches it from you and looks at it, and looks at you, and says, 2 days then, and tucks it away.
2 days it is.
And and then she scampers off into the dark.
Okay. So I look at this place and I'm like, yep, this is it. This is it. All right, we've got 2 days. Hopefully it doesn't take us any fucking longer than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go back and go back and fetch my
recover your
peoples.
friends. I think we can. Yeah, and I think we can kind of like crossfade or whatever. And now all four of you are there outside this slummy like wall cave building thing. You can see that it has holes kind of throughout the wall with some of them have light emerging from them. It really does just look like a beehive in a lot of ways, but made out of this kind of grayish stone. And then there's an archway at the base. Yeah.
Okay. And as when I meet up with them, I tell them I don't tell them the whole story, but I say I bribed a kid and we have 2 days before that's the most I could do was 2 days before he's going to tell everybody about it. So that's that. And I also tell them I relay the story of the knife and the wound and all that shit and trying to get information about the Rat King being their mother and father and that kind of thing, but they look human and that kind of thing. So, and I just basically ask like, have you ever heard of anything like that in your life?
Well, Berg and I met some strange creatures that could turn from human to animal. Maybe it was something like that.
Like a lycanthrope?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I've heard of them. I've never seen one.
I've
We've
never.
seen a lot of things.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Hold on. Adam, is that okay for me to say that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fine.
What were you gonna say, Berg?
No, I think Berg just said that we've seen a lot of things.
Berg's
Berg just
seen
reminds him like we've seen some shit.
Yeah, Berg's seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Have you seen anything quite like that?
If
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Adam, we're at the area where this key is supposed to be entered in, and the portal's gonna open, right? Is that what you said?
You're at the building. One of the like tenements, one of the apartments inside is the place you're supposed to go.
Okay. Can we discern from the outside which one it is, or do we need to go in?
Oh, you got to go in. There's like hallways and stuff.
Okay. Is there a door? Is it open? Do we need to knock? Like, what do we see directly in front of us?
So directly in front of you is a just an open archway that leads inside. And then there are individual little like hovels inside this hive.
How tall are the ceilings here, since we're kind of in a cave? Not very tall.
Yeah, not very.
Are there open like windows or anything on any of these buildings, or is it all closed?
Yeah. There's some. They're not really windows because they don't have glass or whatever. Some of them have shutters, but yeah, they're openings. Essentially, you're standing. There's a 30 or 40 foot tall wall in front of you, and there's a big opening in the front, and there's smaller openings up at the top. Some of them have faint light inside.
Give me 1 second. Look at a spell.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. I just put my hand out in front of me and make a circle, and from the circle, from like almost a pocket dimension, you see a hawk step out of it. He crawls up on my arm and kind of looks at me, and I shove him off my arm, close my eyes, and start controlling the hawk. I want to try to fly into these buildings to see if I can just find the room right off the bat without actually going in them myself.
Okay, so you just want to like look at all the windows and see if any of them look familiar?
Yeah, well, potentially go inside them if they do look familiar enough to warrant such a search within.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few that are just open. You can just like have your hawk fly in there, but people live in these places. Like, there's a chance someone will try to grab it, or like you'll cause chaos, right? If someone is sharing. Also, yeah, like it's up to you. I mean,
well, I'm okay losing Bird. We've lost some owls before on the show for some dumber ideas than this. It's not a big deal.
Don't do it. Don't rely on it. It's not gonna work. Bad things are gonna happen.
We're gonna try it out. We're gonna see what happens.
Don't know what you're doing.
Make a perception check for the hawk first.
With the hawks.
Yeah, except disadvantage because the best light the hawk has is dim light.
So would it just be evened out since I get advantage on perception? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The hawk's wisdom is 14, which is that's +1, right? Or +2?
I think so, something like that. Let me
because mine's 15, 16 +3, so it's a +2.
Okay.
18? My bad.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So the hawk flies up and flies around. You can look at all the windows. The thing is, the room is irrelevant, right? Because you get to look into all these rooms. There's a bunch of like kind of crappy looking rooms, people or talking or fighting, but you know they all look the same. They all just look like shitty rooms. The thing is, the door is what matters, and you enter from the inside of the building through the hallway, through the door, holding the acorn, and that will take you to this other place. The room itself, you can't, like, you've never seen the inside of it. You know what the door looks like from the hallway, but.
Okay, and I can't, the hawk can't go that far inside of the building to see the doors, to see if I can figure out which one it is?
I mean, you'd have to fly it into an apartment that also had an open door into the hallway, and then fly around in the hallways. It's not really capable of, it's not a drone, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, what do I roll? Because I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's not really capable of doing that. It's like a bird flying into someone's house. Like, it'll bang up into walls and windows and stuff.
So I'm grabbing the acorn and like rolling it around in my hand. Is it doing anything? Is it heating up? Is it fucking guiding us anywhere? Like I move it around like a compass? Does it glow or some shit?
If you go inside and just walk up and down the halls, you'll find your way to, like, you'll recognize the door when you see it.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. But there's no like locks or anything. We wouldn't be like breaking in.
No, I mean, think about it like an apartment building, right? Like,
okay, like yeah, sure.
It's an apartment building. You can get in the front door and you can walk around the halls and climb the stairs and stuff.
Yep, that's what I'm doing then.
Nana, just real quick. Nana gave us the acorn. Like, what was the whole deal with the acorn? Like,
it's the key.
The key to it. That's what I thought it was. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know like if it held like other special properties or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So you're just gonna walk. The whole group of you is just gonna walk in and walk around.
Yeah. After I do my hawk escapades, I'd come back. I didn't find anything. We'll need to go on foot. And I think we just go on foot to down the halls.
All right. So you just head inside and start walking around. At your approach, because you know you don't make like a ton of noise or anything, but like people can hear you walking around. You know, people close their doors. Maybe you note like people looking out into the hall and then shut the door when you come around the corner. And and so you're walking around in the halls, and I think it's going to take you some time because you walk up and walk down one hall, and then walk up the stairs, walk down the other. And there's several stories.
They look out. They're like, all right, dragon, turtle, human, and orc. Oh, adventurers. Okay.
Right. Yeah. They immediately just pick up the phone and they're like, yo, 911, I got some adventurers in my house.
Everyone's gonna die.
So you're walking around in the hallway, and I think that at one point, several stories up as you're examining the doors and you haven't found it yet, you hear some sounds, some clattering, some sort of like clinking sounds behind you, and you turn, and there's a group of dwarves approaching down the hall, and one of them, the one in the front, is carrying a metal, like a mace, essentially. And the end of the mace is shaped like the head of a beautiful woman, like kissing the air. So this big iron mace. And he has like kind of stringy gray hair and a long graying beard. The other two, there's three of them total. There's a man and a woman, and they're equally like armed with like bludgeoning weapons, and they're walking to the hall towards you. What do you do?
Do the other two also have kissing things at the top of their weapons?
No, they just have like regular looking like maces.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
Internally, in my mind, I see a dwarf and I immediately think trouble, and then I see Berg and I immediately think like, oh fuck, this is not good.
How far away are they?
They're at the end of the hall. Like they've just come up the stairs. So they're probably like 100 feet.
Do they look like they have a stand? Like, are they weapons at ready?
It doesn't look like they're coming to fight, but they're looking like they're ready to try to intimidate you, right? Because they're just like, oh, what are you doing here? Like,
Okay. Yeah, Berg's just gonna stay forward, not showing any signs of backing down.
Yep. I'll keep my I'll keep in the lead and just keep walking. And if they since I'm in the lead, this was my intention, is just to keep walking, and if they fucking talk to me or do whatever, then I'll deal with it then.
Okay, so you just try to walk away from them because they're coming up from behind where you were.
Oh, they're walking behind us?
Yeah, they've come up the stairs behind you, and you're not going to cross paths with them, but they're walking.
Oh, they're not walking towards us. Oh.
Well, they are. Okay. They are. Yeah.
I'm saying like they're not in front of us walking towards us. Got
way.
it. I had it like we were playing some hallway chicken is what I had in my head.
No. Okay, but if you just start to walk, the one at the front like clears his throat, right? He's like, and who's in the rear of the group of you?
Ramus.
Ramus would be,
and then
with
me, followed by me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like Ramus, me, Salihafa, and then Kalima.
Okay. All right. So Ramus, you're the closest to these dwarves.
Can I help you?
And he grins. He's got these like,
turn around.
He's got these just like brown teeth. He's like missing a few in the front. And he grins and he says, that remains to be seen. What are you doing here? You're not looking for somewhere to live, I think. Like he slaps the mace into his hand.
I think Berg stops and is just like hasn't turned yet, but just standing forward, like very tall. He's like straight his back and everything.
And I pop on forward to stand next to Ramus, or maybe even in front of him if I can, and say, no, of course we are not here to look for a place to live. We're here to look for a place to purchase. We might buy this entire location, and don't even think about robbing us. We're not carrying the gold on us, of course. We're just looking at the place as a possible money-making venture in the future. So
make a deception check.
Okay. Where is that? There it is. Fuck, man. 9. These guys aren't that smart, though.
It's a pretty bad roll. So he says,
we're gonna buy the place.
That's a 2, goddammit.
He shakes his head and his greasy locks kind of like dance around his shoulders, and he says, Sabine's apartment's not for sale. I think you're here to cause trouble. Are you here to cause trouble? And Ramus, he pokes you in the chest with the head of his mace.
All right, you caught us. We're not here to buy something. Someone here owes us money. You don't have to lie anymore, Calumet. Tell him about who we're looking for. The old man owes us money.
Okay, since Calumet is more charismatic than I am, and like more clever in the art of deception, he picks up on that immediately.
Right away.
Yeah. And just goes, all right, you caught us. I guess we just didn't want to alert him to our coming. So, all we know is, and I'm trying to think of. I describe someone who I've already seen, but nobody who's down here.
Oh, like just someone around, like you.
Yeah, kind of like a Usual Suspect style.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw. Let's see if your memory holds out for you.
Oh,
just DC 10.
Okay. Hey,
Nice.
19.
Okay. So you envision you envision a person, and you describe that person. Okay. Well, I think that entitles you to another deception check.
Okay.
Oh boy.
That's a double deception. Let's do it. 22.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So you describe it, and he like snarls, and he says, you're looking for old Sarouche, eh? Well, I've got to break it to you. He belongs to us. Everyone in this building is Sabines, and they pay protection to her. So if you want to shake him down, you have to go through us. How much does he owe you?
What's a reasonable amount, Adam? Like, how much? Okay, in my experience, like, how much would someone pay me to like do a reading for them, do a tarot reading for them?
They would all get it free down here. It's like a civil service. A priest would just do it.
Okay. Do you think?
If you're looking for, I guess you tell me a reasonable amount for like what, right? So like, what is it? What are you gonna pretend that you did for him that he owes you? Does he owe you for drugs? Does he owe you for something else?
You want to think about it while we take a break, Zeke? I'll save you here.
I don't want to think about it while we take a break. You got to come up with it on the spot.
Okay.
So I was going to say gambling debt.
Oh, okay. All right, sure. Then anywhere between 20 and 100 gold is probably like reasonable without being like 1 billion gold. Like, you don't want to sound like an idiot. So okay, so what do you say?
He's into us for 60 gold for gambling.
And he's like, 60 gold. I wipe my ass with taverns or more of that. And he scowls up at you and he says, how about this? I give you 20 gold and you fuck off.
If you want to buy his marker, I'm more than happy. It threats and nothing has worked so far, and I'm not going to be able to spend his blood, so I will take that deal and I will consider his debt paid. You have his marker now, and I will wash my hands of the situation.
So he says to you, he gestures and someone puts the gold in his hand, and he looks at you and he says, all right, give me the paperwork.
There's no paperwork involved with a debt like this. We're not bankers.
And he scowls. He scowls and he says, all debts down here are handled by the cult of the devil. If you don't have the devil's stamp, then you're out all your money, friend. And they laugh at you like, haha, you dummy, you're from up there and you don't know how it works down here. And he takes his money back and he's just like, haha, you're not getting anything. In fact, and he looks at his friends, he's like, maybe now we charge you. If you're from the surface, you must have some money. And one of them is like, yeah, look at his clothes. And he says, I like the look of that shirt. He kind of nudges you. He says, maybe now you pay us, and then we let you leave.
Do I know of any nefarious group, like gangs, mafia kind of types from up on the surface?
You could probably make one up. But yeah, like you could. Let's have you make a history roll.
Okay.
Okay, so whatever you're like, you'll just have to make something up and try to like, but make them believe you.
Well, I won't. I'll just say,
Yeah, so
they said maybe we blah 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 blah. And how many of them are there?
There's 3.
And there's 4 of us, and I look at Berg,
Yeah,
and I look
as you-
at them, and I say, I think this is probably gone far enough. I'm fully willing to call it even right now, but I guarantee that is what you want to do.
As soon as you
Just
say
call
that,
it.
Berg, you see Berg's hammer like slip from like above up here, like down
there-
into his like.
Is there a door behind them, Adam?
Not behind them, no.
But there's a door somewhere near them.
I mean, yeah, you're in a hallway with closed doors on both sides.
Okay. I'm just wondering, the exit is where behind them?
Like several dozen feet behind them, there's a staircase. You're just in a long hallway.
Okay.
I mean, they could like kick down a door, or you could, but
Right. What do
yeah.
they do to react to Berg?
well, why don't we take our break here?
Okay, there we go.
This is a good place to like hammer in hand, like, oh well, if you don't want to let us go.
Okay. All right. Let's take a break. Still got 2 hours left to go here on Court of Swords, week 54. We will be right back with more. We'll see you in just a bit.